Welcome back. Welcome back, Mochi. Merry Christmas from me and this sleepy little puppy dog. So it's cozy season right now. It is 15 degrees and I have had a lot of time to just be indoors and read and listen to a bunch of podcasts, watch a bunch of YouTube videos, and I'm gonna share my top favorites of this past December. I love podcasts, so I listen to at least one podcast episode, I don't know, like every day. I'm either listening as soon as I wake up, when I'm walking the dog, when I'm in the shower, or, as I'm going to bed. So a lot of the time. The genres I tend to listen to are mostly probably science, specifically psychology related, Christian ones, design related ones. But there's been a few in particular that I have actually just been constantly listening to, just soaking up like every episode that I can. So starting with How Married Are You? This, oh my goodness, they're this Christian married couple, and they're content creators from YouTube. Their channel is called Belief in Fatherhood, and they record their family just doing like silly everyday things. And the dad, he talks about what it's like to be a black father, raising healthy children and having a healthy marriage. And in their podcast, they talk about a lot of different topics, but what strikes me the most is they're not afraid to talk about really uncomfortable topics and share their vulnerability about their struggles with marriage, their struggles with raising their kids, and take care of themselves at the same time. I think I listen to this podcast so much because they're just so authentic. I have fallen in love with this family. Like I get so much joy in seeing these kids grow and seeing their family dynamics. They're not this picture perfect family. They talk about their struggles with mental health. They talk about going to couples therapy. One day I want to be a parent, and I think it inspires me to see a family that works really hard. I kind of always had this idea in my head that when you grow up, you're just automatically gonna know exactly what to do at any moment's notice. But what I'm learning from this family, from this couple, is that this takes a lot of work. This takes a lot of self-introspection, understanding how your partner is just a completely different human than you are, and how much work it takes to really tag team. And then when you throw in kids into the mix, it's just another added challenge. But for this family, although that they've been going through so many things, they're just doing such a great job, and I am just so happy for them. And the second podcast that I've been listening to is The Basement with Tim Ross. And Tim Ross is now a former pastor, I believe. I don't know, he was formerly like a spiritual leader. The thing that I love most about Tim Ross is that he is just so himself. I don't know how to explain it. He's like very unapologetically raw and isn't afraid to talk about a lot of topics that the church doesn't openly talk about. I come from a really conservative Catholic background, so the things Tim is talking about is just like openly talking about depression and his attempts at suicide, or his struggles with pornography and resisting temptation. And it's a safe space to really feel less uncomfortable about these different topics. I can give myself a lot more grace for being human. Okay, now books. So I have been falling back in love with reading. I'm gonna talk about 3 different books in particular that I've been struggling to finish this past month. Michelle Obama's book, The Light We Carry. So I found out about this book, I don't know, probably from a podcast. But what gravitated me towards this book was the fact that she was talking about her vulnerabilities. She's talking about how she's really imperfect, you know. I guess my perception of Michelle Obama is like superwoman, first lady of the United States. She's a successful mother, career woman, all these different kinds of things. She speaks so eloquently. Definitely somebody who I really look up to. The superwoman Michelle Obama that I kind of have built up in my mind is just so authentically human in a really good way. When she talks about her struggles with anxiety and how much work and effort she had to put in to be this eloquent woman, to be this person who seems so confident and so passionate about making the world a better place, essentially. Oh, she just gives me so much like hope, and she just makes me feel really proud to be a woman. This book has made me love her even more just because I see myself more through this woman, because she is so imperfect. Beautifully imperfect. Next up is this thick thick book called The Myth of Normal by Gabor Mate and his son Daniel Mate. Gabor Mate is a former physician. His line of work is very focused more on trauma and addiction. And okay, I have watched hours and hours reading and listening to a bunch of podcasts about this man and his work, and I have been putting so much focus and attention in my own personal life about childhood trauma. This particular subject I gravitate towards just because I'm in a season of where I'm learning how to make peace with a lot of the things that I did not know that were still bothering me as an adult to this day. Trauma is not exactly what happens to you, it's what happens inside of you. And this book, man, it's just got so many nuggets. And I am obsessed. I'm obsessed because I think this is a really important subject that not everybody has the privilege and opportunity to learn about. He's not like a motivational speaker. You know, he's not in your face like, you know, you gotta do this, this, and this, and you'll be a great person and you'll be super successful. He's kind of like, I don't know, not a super cheerful man, but I think that's also what makes him so authentic. Authentic is like the word I am using all up in this video today, but I think that speaks volumes about the kinds of things that I really enjoy learning about, and the people that I tend to gravitate towards, just authentic people. And maybe that's also somebody that I see myself more as, like, living as an authentic person. And last but not least, I have been reading the Bible. So I'll talk about this in another episode, but this past December I have been reading the entire book, or the entire Gospel of Luke. So in the Gospel of Luke, it talks about Jesus's life, all the way from when he was born, his ministry that he started when he was 30, up until a couple years later when he died, then he was resurrected. And mind you, I have never read the Bible like that in my entire life. I come from a Catholic background, and you know, I was in Sunday school and stuff, and I would be part of Bible studies, but I never took the time to read the Bible just for fun. I don't know what it is, but taking the time to read the Gospel of Luke at this stage in my life, I just felt so empathetic for all of these characters that I've always heard about, all of his disciples. It just made everybody seem a lot less fictional. And you know, I inherently know like these characters were actual people. Like they actually lived in a certain period of time. This wasn't just like a a storybook, things that I was fed when I was a kid. And I can go on and on and on. It's a totally another episode, but I really enjoyed reading the Gospel of Luke. And I am also going through the other 3 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and John. I've become a little bit obsessed. I become that person who writes notes in their Bible. It's it's all covered up. This is a daily practice for me. I love reading. I'm just not gonna stop reading because I really like it. Mochi and I would like to thank you all for joining us in today's episode of OhGlowUp. Thanks for letting me share a couple of my December favorites. I'll catch you next time. And remember, today is a good day to glow up. Bye, y'all.